Let's talk about, let's say you want to just know how to get promoted here or anywhere else. Let's say you get a job as a plumber. Let's say you join some sort of committee or whatever, or internship. Let's say you do an internship. I'm going to give you the secret. And I'm not just saying this based on theory, it's based on doing this over and over and over again. First and foremost, we have to remember this. We all have a reputation and only a short amount of time to build it. We all will have a reputation, and you only have a small window of time to build it. Once that window of time has passed, you have a reputation whether you like what it's become or not. So you better take advantage of that short window of time. It's called that first impression time. So you might think, I'm not that guy, I'm not that girl, but what is your behavior are telling other people about you? So you really have to be aware of that little short window of time. First and foremost, this is what we're going to focus on, effort. Why is effort important? Those who give their best effort stand out because most don't do it. Most people don't give their best effort, especially today. Most people, forgive me if this comes across as offensive, etc., are lazy. Most people are lazy today. If you cannot be lazy, you're going to stand out in a very positive way. But it's not going to be easy. Everyone respects those who give their best. This is a universal law. Whatever you believe in, that is a universal law. We love being around people who give their best, and we respect it. If you watch American Idol, you love watching the singer who's giving it all. And they're not like embarrassed or they're not like holding back. We love to see that. Effort is especially important when handling something of high value. Think about what I'm saying right now. If I'm hiring you, this is my livelihood, this is our livelihood, and then you take that and you don't give your best effort, how are we going to feel about that? It's like I give you my baby to babysit, and you're like, let me go over there in the corner, just go do your thing. Of course, I'm not going to like that. But then you're like, opposite, so attentive, watching every little step, every move. I'm going to give you a raise immediately. This is not complex. This is not a complex idea, but we overcomplicate this because of all the distractions today. So let's think about what does that look like? Well, first and foremost, striving to be the best, no matter the task. Whatever you're doing, that's your only approach. You don't let a smudge in the mirror go uncleaned because you just don't operate like that. You show instead of tell. You're the quiet all-star. You don't talk about it. You don't say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I know this, I know that, blah, 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 blah. Keep your mouth shut and just show it. Do it. Let others talk about you, don't talk about yourself. Let others say, oh my gosh, that guy, that girl. And you're not there going with a megaphone, look what I'm doing. Look what I did. And you write underneath, look what I did. See what I mean? Show it. You don't got to say anything about it. People will notice, especially your manager, your leader, your coach, whoever you want to call, your peers, they'll notice. They will notice. Be engaged. If you're on the clock, what are you doing? You're here to work. You're not doing personal things. You're engaged. To me, that's common decency. I don't know how anybody can do that with a heart, like with a clear conscience. How do you do personal things when others paying for you? That doesn't make any sense to me, right? But that goes into the effort bucket. Go above and beyond. If you want to stand out, you can't just do whatever you're asked. You got to go beyond that. Go do things that you didn't realize your manager or leader wanted you to do. They're going to notice that immediately. If not immediately, it will happen over time. Don't take shortcuts. Don't just check the box. Do it with full effort every single time. Take on more responsibility. Don't just always try to figure out what is the, best, most efficient way to do this without taking a lot of time. And of course, don't just try to get other people to do your work. Do your own work. Gosh, this is like simple stuff, right? As you can tell, I'm passionate about this stuff. Here's one, show up. Like meetings like this. Especially the things you don't want to show up to. The people making a decision, they notice this. Whether you think they don't, you're like, oh, I'm going to creep in. Nobody knows. Oh, they notice. They notice. And especially, even if it's not important to you, it's not about you. Remember, we talked about this. Die to self. It's about the cause. It's about the manager, the leader, the organization. What do they want? Not what do I want. Show up early. Stop trying to play this game of 11:59, boom. Exactly on time. I didn't waste any time here sitting around. I got to do whatever I want out there. I got to do a little bit more of doom scrolling on Instagram or TikTok. I got a little bit more in. Show up 10 minutes early, 15 minutes early, 20. What are you saving time for? But of course, if what you're doing, like the job or the organization that you're with, if it's not important to you, of course, all this is hogwash. Show up prepared. Don't just half-fast it. Show up over-prepared every single time. You get what you put in, right? I think we can all agree with that. You get what you put in. Don't just show up and wing it. Show up prepared. Like when you're going to teach a class, show up prepared. Here's one. Show up healthy. How on earth can you give your best effort if you're not getting enough sleep, you eat garbage, and your health is poor? What are you going to do? Are you just going to try harder? I'm sorry. This old guy is starting to realize you can't just try harder because your body will win. If it's time for you to stop, you'll stop. But the biggest fallacy is young people thinking they can just do whatever they want, eat garbage, not get enough sleep, go to bed super late, and then still be productive and all-star. You got to choose. What do you want? What do you want? You want to stay up and do nonsense and then not get what you want in life? Or do you want to give up the nonsense so then you can get something bigger in life? It's your choice. This is called universal laws of life. Here's one, last one for effort. Stay extra. Don't be the first one leaving. Don't always think, I got to leave early. I got to go do my personal things, whatever. Stay a little extra. Hey, is there something else I can do? Are you good? It took you 5 minutes. Ask the question, are you good? The leader will notice. You will get promoted, I promise, if you do that. Next piece of the pie is be consistent. We talk about giving full effort, right? It's easy to be an all-star in a day. It's easy to be an all-star in a week. It's easy to be an all-star in a month. Can you be an all-star for a year, years, and years again? Most people can't, because it's one of those things where you go to sleep and you wake up and you're lazy again. And you got to battle that every single day. The reason why it is important to be consistent, first, you earn trust from the leader, you are seen as reliable, and you have high self-discipline, which you can manage yourself. You don't have to be managed by somebody else. So again, you're earning trust. Now you're that reliable person for that leader. And then lastly, you have that high discipline. It's like, I don't have to manage that person. No leader wants to micromanage anybody. I can tell you that right now. What does consistency look like for you? Well, best effort regardless of who's watching. I've seen this too in the past. Doing your thing, and then you look. Did they notice that I was doing my best? Did they notice I was doing my best? Ooh, did they notice I was doing my best? Put your blinders on and just keep your head down and do your best because that's who you are. Not because you're trying to get approval. Just go. Pedal to the metal. Do your best. You're transparent and you're honest. There's no hidden agendas. You're not trying to connive and do little things in the background. Oh, I'm going to do my best, but I know if I do this, then just be honest and transparent. And if you're wanting to get to that position, be honest and transparent and say, look, I really want to be that position. I know I'm not that guy yet. I'm not that gal yet. But I'm just letting you know, and I'm here if you ever want to teach me how to get to that position. Somebody told me that, oh my goodness. Show up at this time, we're going to sit down, I'm going to tell you everything. Lastly is never getting too comfortable. This is the problem this is the challenge, the battle, is you show up for a new job, and then what are you doing? You're giving your best outfit, you did your hair, makeup is looking great. You washed your face. You brushed your teeth. You show up on the first day and you're just looking like $1,000,000. Next week, hair gets all messy. I don't need to brush my teeth. They're not going to notice. I'll chew some gum. I'll wear a t-shirt. I'm not going to tuck in my shirt. I'm going to show up 1 minute before start time. This is called the human condition, guys. Those of you who can battle this natural trap we get into are those who get promoted. Very simple. Let's go to the next piece, which is the most important. Humble. Humility is the universal, most appreciated, respected, sought after traits. The trait, not traits, trait that people are always looking for. If you ever look at news or celebrity stuff, those who are arrogant, they make a mistake and they don't repent, are those who get trashed online. But those who are genuinely repentant and they're humble about making their mistake, people forgive them. Isn't that funny how that works, regardless of what you believe in? That's just the way we are. Nobody likes arrogance. Think about that. And we know that, but sometimes we act like that, even though you don't like that in other people. Humility can cause others to reciprocate. What does that mean? If I'm humble, other person feels like they want to be humble to me. See how that works? It goes both ways. Humility is the first step to learning new things. Do you know why? Because the first step to learning new things is accepting that you don't know, which requires humility. You have to be able to say, I don't know. I suck at this. But when you're a type of person who thinks you're good at everything and you're not quick to admit, I don't know, how are you going to be learning new things? What does that look like? Well, first and foremost, I talked about this already. Removal of all pride, dying to self, quickly accepting weaknesses, holding your own ideas loosely. If you have an idea on how things should be better, but then the leader says, nope, this is how we're doing it, let it go. Because you're thinking about the big picture. You're not so prideful about your idea that you let that just completely diminish any future you have with growing in the company. Don't take things so personally. When we take things personally, do you know why? It's because we have a high perspective of ourselves. We put ourselves on a pedestal. That's why we take things personally. How dare you say that to me, because I am me. Care less about self-image and status. You should not care so much about what your status is. You should care more about how much value are you providing for the company. The status will come, I promise you that. But when you flip it and you care so much about how you look in the company and how you are, what your status is, that's the backwards approach. We should not be, if we're humble, we don't point out or correct the errors of others constantly. Wait a minute, isn't that supposed to be like this? Or even publicly, that's the worst one, but, oh, they said this. It's like, oh, wait a minute. You know what that means? You're focusing so much on other people that you stop focusing on your own errors. Look at yourself first. If somebody else makes an error in front of you, what should you do? Yeah, they probably didn't catch that. Give them the benefit of the doubt. You don't go, you made a mistake. Why do we do that? It's because deep down we're insecure, and it makes us feel good because we're like, oh, I caught that. They didn't know about that. We're not above any task. I'm a manager. I'm not cleaning up that toilet. You should, because that's how leaders lead by example. You're patiently obedient. I'm going to say that one more time. Patiently obedient. That means you are doing what you are told. That's called being on a team with a leader who makes the decisions. If you don't want to follow a leader, go start your own business and be your own leader. But once you're in part of an organization and you have somebody to report to, this idea for some reason is like all of a sudden something people don't do, which is be obedient and do what you're told, and also do it with patience, knowing that, and really this is what it comes down to, if you don't trust the leadership, get out. You've got to trust the leadership. If you do trust the leadership, then it's extremely easy to just be obedient and not question everything. So what all this comes back to, or not comes back to, but it all combines into being teachable. If you're teachable, you are promotable. You are somebody that the leader is going to naturally want to level up. Why is this important? Simple. It allows a leader to feel they are not wasting their time investing in you. It doesn't matter where you are. Whether you're a janitor or you're a manager, if you're teachable, your leader is not going to feel like they're wasting their time on you. Time is money and time is finite. For me personally, if somebody's not humble, I will not invest in them. Why? It has nothing to do with some sort of personal reason other than it's a waste of time because I know they're not going to even absorb what I'm telling them. If they're not going to give their best effort, then it's just going to go in their ear and stay there. Their body's not going to do the advice I gave them. And if they're not consistent, I know it doesn't matter what I tell them because you've got to be consistent over time to achieve success. So what does it look like? You're always giving your best effort, you're predictable and you're reliable, and you're humble. It's a simple equation. Do these things if you want to get promoted. Don't do these things if you want to stay in your current position, not make any more money, still doing the same thing 5 years from now, living in the same apartment, making the same wage, maybe by 3% increases, and really not enjoying life and not feeling fulfilled. If you want all those things, give your best effort, be consistent, and be humble. Start with the humility if you're going to start with any of them. Then you're at least going to be somebody we can say, hey, maybe we need to step it up in the effort. And you humbly go, you know what, you're right. I do. Or, you're not consistent. You're right. Help me be consistent. If somebody says that, asks me that, help me, I'll do whatever I can.